What's up, guys? Dave Dunsire. Super stoked to talk to you about the newest plugin from Neural DSP, the Archetype Nolly Plugin. Nolly Get Good is the former bass player of Periphery and a producer known for his incredible mixes and his ear for tone. They've developed a new plugin which features 4 amps and cabs, multiple effects both in the effects loop and in front of the amp, and the ability to switch out the impulse responses to ones you already have in your library or use the incredible ones that Nolly's developed, featuring his own personal amp and cab collection. So let's get into how I use the Archetype Nolly plugin in this track, and I'm just going to show off some of the presets and talk a little bit about the mix. So let's start with the intro. Cool, so in this intro, we have 2 instances of Archetype Nolly going in, like technically 3. So looking at this, these first 2 left and right panned rhythm guitars. When I was messing around initially with the plugin, I found that the metal rhythm preset that Nolly came up with actually worked perfectly with no changes added at all. Gate set exactly as it was. This is totally stock. His third amp and cab combo, kind of this 5150-ish looking amp. It's really plays well with the TS style overdrive. Now in terms of what's going on with speakers, just a 57, a little bit right off of the middle of the cone. And yeah, it works really well. Let's solo these 2 tracks, and you can kind of hear for yourself, and then we'll play it with the bass. So as you can hear, everything sits perfectly in the mix. It's punchy and clear. It's not overly distorted or grainy, but the tone has a good amount of hair on it, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's kind of got some balls to the sound, and it's definitely not your average cab sim, not your average plugin. Really there's rarely times where I open a plugin and find a preset and don't touch anything, and that's exactly what I did here. So it's pretty cool. So next, we could talk a little bit about the lead. I originally had a different lead tracked. I forgot to save it, so there's 2 different leads that you'll hear throughout the video. This is the second one. This is a preset that I made up. I named all of my presets after SpongeBob. So yeah, there's that. I might release them if you want. Comment below, and I might put out a preset pack with my Formuoli lead and all of the fun Bikini Bottom references. Cool, so let's go. Cool. So my approach for creating this tone was I wanted something that was really clear in the mid-range and something that kind of had like a really wide, huge feel to it. So one thing I found was this fourth amplifier. A lot of people have hinted that it seems like it might be a Kraken Victory amp-esque. It kind of has like the Tremonti signature amp look, and Victory amps have made a lot of these lunchbox style heads. Also amazing company, they make some killer amps. So I cut the gain back a little bit. Nolly describes this amp as kind of a spongy, bouncy distortion, and that's definitely accurate. I found that I preferred cab 3 for this tone, and I can kind of go back and forth why with that. That's the third cab. Go back to that. See, they're both really good. When I was playing through it, I kind of preferred cab 3. It just had a little bit more of an interesting flavor to it. Kind of a character that I liked. A little bit hairier. Cab 2 was kind of interesting. Kind of has more of that like kind of creamback, kind of Celestian vibe to it, at least in my opinion. And then let's hear what cab 1. And you kind of hear it like as it goes down the line, like it gets a little bit hairier and a little bit fizzier, and it rolls off, gets a little bit smoother as you go kind of from left to right. But this was the one that I liked the most, this combination. Now, I did roll off a little bit of the 4K range and a little bit in the 16 kilohertz range, just to kind of tame a little bit of that. And then in terms of microphones, we've got the 160 ribbon microphone just towards the edge of the cone, as well as the condenser 414. It's definitely interesting, Nolly's choice of microphones. He's got a lot of kind of tried and true classics here. At the same time, you know, I've tried a lot of third-party impulse responses out that also just pair really, really well with these amps. So even like David Maximichik's Little Cubes impulse responses, those sound incredible. I have a bunch of presets I've made with those. But, you know, in terms of stock sounds, just totally fantastically. You can really get pretty creative with your mic combinations here, and a lot of awesome and interesting tones. So yeah, you know, in terms of plugins and capability, it's clear that they've put a ton of work, number one, into the responsiveness of the amps and how they really play, not only kind of in just like a tracking scenario, but everything responds the way a real amp would. The processing kind of potential between like the high and normal oversampling kind of help depending on your computer situation. I've kind of switched back and forth, and that's kind of helped sometimes when I have kind of bulked up sessions. Really, really love these delays and reverbs that are built in. Just to kind of like syllabus again, and I'll turn up the delay 2. There's definitely a magic to a great digital delay, and especially like ping pong delay, in kind of my opinion, is really one of the only delays that I tend to want when I'm mixing lead guitars. The mod setting on this is really cool. I find that you can also use your delay 1 kind of as a chorus. If you set the time very low, the mix very high, and then you play with the amount of tone and feedback. So if we kind of go here, play this back. There's a lot that you can do just with the pedal section alone, just being able to stack these overdrives on top of each other. Compressors pair very well with rhythm tones as well. That's something that I found, especially with this snappy preset. Definitely very useful for lower and mid gain lead tones if you're trying to achieve some of those like kind of more jazz fusion sounds. Yeah, I can't say anything but great things about this plugin. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the sounds in this video, make sure to go to www.neuraldsp.com to try a free demo of the Archetype Nolly plugin, as well as all the other amazing plugins that they make. Thanks for watching, and if you like the videos that you see, be sure to hit the notification bell below, like and subscribe, and follow me on my Instagram page where I post most of my content. Working on a new album that's been long overdue, so thank you so much for your support, and stay tuned for more videos. Later.